Let's head over to the next bowl game here. After just talking about that Frisco Bowl, let's go Boca Raton. Let's talk about the Boca Raton Bowl. James Madison playing against Western Kentucky, a Sun Belt versus CUSA matchup here. And you're looking at a Sun Belt. Here's where I get confused, right? Because early in the season, the CUSA champion, right, matched up with the Sun Belt team early in the year, and or was it a Sun Belt team? Got maybe smacked, and then they played a MAC team, got smacked, and then they played Southern Miss and smacked Southern Miss. I'm talking about Jacksonville State. I'm just talking about like the CUSA's matchup versus out of conference. Like how good is this CUSA conference actually, right? Because we know that the Sun Belt maybe a little bit less effective at good as maybe they were last year. And last year the Sun Belt struggled in their bowl games, right? So I actually struggled a lot picking this game because I do think that Western Kentucky, and I'll let you talk about some of the opt outs in this game, particularly at the quarterback position. And we don't. By the way, we don't know who technically is playing what at quarterback, but there are three quarterbacks in the transfer portal for Western Kentucky, and Western Kentucky's also been very solid in bowl games in the past. And it, was a really tough game for me because when I look at Sunbelt versus CUSA, I do see a talent difference there. However, I this is a tough game for me to pick.
It really is. I will say, yes, there's a ton of people in the portal for Western Kentucky, but keep in mind, Tyson Helton has been pretty open to letting players be in the portal and then play. Now, if you're taking visits all throughout this week, which we've seen some guys on the maybe the defensive side of the ball be doing that, potentially you're not going to be practicing. Probably won't be able to play in that game, but I expect Caden Velkamp to play in this game. TJ Finley is a guy, right, that's in the portal. There's their backup, guy transferred over, kind of been everywhere, down there in that southeast region over in Texas State a year ago. Tanner Helton, their third string quarterback, he's also in the portal as well. And you also got,
It's
six,
funny.
seven other starters as well in the portal. So it could be a tough spot where if you see these guys, and it could be a live bet thing where it's like, oh, look who's not playing for Western Kentucky right now. And then you could find some value there with James Madison. Right now, I'm going to just assume that Caden Velkamp's going to play, and a lot of these other starters are going to play. But now let's go about with a JMU. They're having problems at the quarterback spot, too. Alonzo Barnett, right, a guy that's played very good football for them this year in the Sun Belt. He's hurt. Remember, he got hurt on one of the last plays of the game against Marshall. I think that was overtime, right? Double overtime. Took a sack, got hurt there, limped off the field. He's not going to be playing this game. And neither is Dylan Morris, who just had surgery, offseason quarterback that transferred over from Washington, former highly rated recruit. Obviously a very talented player in his own right. So that leads us to the third string there, and that's Billy Atkins, right? He's a guy, he's going to start for them. I think it's his second career start. He started, I think, back in 2022 against Marshall. Was not great at all, but he's been getting better and better. I think they feel pretty excited about what he can do in his talent he does have. He does throw a nice deep ball. I went back and watched his film in high school, right? So you guys don't have to, so you're welcome for that. But he throws a really nice deep ball, and he's got some good mobility. He's got a verified 4.7 back in high school there. So he could be a very interesting spot here. And you remember a team just a couple weeks ago, right? Jackson State ran the ball all over Western Kentucky twice, back-to-back weeks there, especially with a quarterback too, right? Remember Tyler Huff, CUSA Pride Player of the Year. He's a guy that ran all over them, along with the running back there. I think JMU's going to have a similar thing, especially if Ayo
A day.
Adayi, if he's healthy as well. If not, they've kind of rotated guys in there as well. So I don't expect a huge drop off, but yeah, I like this JMU team here. I think we're picking at 7.5, right? Because the line's kind of been all over the place this week. So settling in at 7.5 by the time we're recording this here. Like I said, run the football,
I guess
stop the run.
you want to pick it at 7? I mean, there's mostly sevens out there.
Yeah, I'll go 7. That helps
All
me.
right. All right. So we know which way you're leaning right here. I also want to mention too, like you want to talk about how terrible Western Kentucky's schedule is. I'll say that James Madison's schedule was probably one of the easiest in the Sun Belt as well. So I don't think there's a huge strength of schedule, you know, uh, argument to be made. I'll take James Madison to win, but I'll take Western Kentucky actually in the spot. I do think quarterback is a bigger issue for James Madison than it is Western Kentucky. If either TJ Finley or Caden Velkamp play. If you remember, Turner Helton actually did start in the famous Toastery Bowl last year until Caden Velkamp came in against Old Dominion and then had his legacy game that gave him his fame at Western Kentucky. So, and fun fact too, Turner Helton is Clay Helton's kid, right? So Tyson Helton's nephew, right? So there maybe was a little bit of nepotism involved in that game, but it is what it is, right? So if Turner Helton is playing, I would flip this, right? And I think Turner Helton is not good enough to to play Division I college football. I really do believe that. In watching his limited action, I think that James Madison would just eat him alive, right? So, but if this is Velkamp, I think he can do enough to keep this a pretty close game. But you're right. Running the football is something that Western Kentucky struggles to stop, right? And something that they've also struggled to do. Now, late in the game, I will respect Western Kentucky's, sorry, not late in the game, late in the season. I'll respect their effort to try to run the football with Elijah Young. However, I don't know that you're going to be able to do that against James Madison and this front. So uh, I like your pick right there. I'm going to slightly fade you a little bit there just because of the quarterback uncertainty. I think is a bigger deal for James Madison than is Western Kentucky. Again, if TJ Finley and Velkamp plays, if Turner Helton plays, then I'm absolutely switching my pick here, and I'm just going to take James Madison and lay the points there. Now, it was interesting though because the line kind of fluctuated. It opened at 7, moved up to 9.5, and then maybe there's some information coming out that maybe Velkamp is that guy that's playing. Maybe that's why that dropped down to 7. So interesting line movement to watch right there. But in terms of a coaching matchup, I mean, do you feel like there's a coaching edge? I don't really feel like there's a big coaching edge in this game.
I respect both these coaches. Both these coaches have been around the block. Bob Chesney, obviously, first year guy with JMU, first year guy, head coach in the FBS, but he's been around the block. Very successful head coach in his own right. Obviously, our guy, Tyson Helton, has done great things there for the Hilltoppers offensively, especially. They've churned out offense coordinator after offense coordinator for some of these upper level programs in the Power Four. So, yeah, I don't think so. It's going to be one that's very interesting to watch. When this came out, this was one that definitely caught my eye in terms of like two programs that are the better programs or well-resourced programs in their respective conferences, as well as two coaches too. I think that are pretty damn good. So it'll be very interesting to see. I'm not worried about any kind of egg or whatever being laid here, even though these teams maybe didn't accomplish the goals that they had in mind coming into the season. I think both these teams were potential guys that wanted to win their conferences, like every team does, obviously. But for JMU, what they did last year, Western Kentucky, in a year where Liberty does drop down, you do have a chance to win. The CUSA, you don't get it done, but yeah, I'm very excited for this matchup here.
It's not too late to make a free $50. That's right. You got to do two things. One, you got to subscribe to the Redshirt Sophomore podcast. That's all you got to do. And then the second step to that is you're going to go in the link in the description and join the college football bowl pool pick'em that we're putting on. Yep, that's right. Introducing the Redshirt Sophomore college football bowl pool pick'em. You're going to go in that link. You're going to find all the bowl games, and you're going to pick those bowl games, and you're going to sign confidence points. How confident are you that that team is going to win that bowl game? And there's a lot of points to sign, and it's never too late to join. That's the thing. You would think, oh man, the first bowl game already passed, South Alabama, Western Michigan. It's not too late. Okay, you only would lose 1 point. Okay, and generally, out of the 400 some points that you can earn, you're not even going to come close to making all those points. So it really, 1 point is not the biggest difference in the world. So make sure though that you are subscribed to the Redshirt Sophomore to qualify for this prize. And good luck to you all.